morning. It's RG here live from RG Avenue Studio, and we're super excited to be able to get together with you for our amazing card club for the month of July. I hope you're all having an amazing summer so far. And this is a pre-recorded class because, as you may know, if you kind of follow us closely, we are out of town this week celebrating our wedding anniversary and Gabby's birthday. But as always, we want to make sure that we continue to try to stay on track and on schedule so that you can create and bring your projects to life. So if you're ready, let's get started. Let's switch over to our top view. And this month's card club is Garden Secrets, which I absolutely adore. I think it's an amazing set. I've already seen you guys playing with a variety of different projects that you've created using this amazing set. And now mines are looking a little sorry compared to all of the beautiful projects you have already created using this set. But we're going to go ahead and get started here. There's quite a bit of stamping, but ironically enough, mainly because you know me, I'm not doing a whole lot of coloring. Which is kind of cray, I know, mainly because I want to be able to create a set of projects that are very, very recreatable and not so time consuming. Some of us are on the rush sometimes, and we don't want to make it seem that card making is always very tedious and time consuming. So we're going to go ahead and start off here with this little nugget. And first things first is we want to get to some of our stamping. Now, in this particular project, I'm going to go ahead and grab my Stamparatus because, of course, we're going to be stamping. And there's an additional piece of cardstock just in case you decided you wanted to layer some more. We're going to do a little bit of that today, but mainly wanted to give you the option if you want to go psycho killer with your coloring. I know many of you are color enthusiasts, and so I don't want to take that away from you, but obviously this set is designed for coloring, and I think it's my responsibility to show you various different options of the sort so that it doesn't always feel so trapped. So what we're going to do is I'm going to bring in my mailbox slot. And I'm going to bring in my sentiment. Right about there. All right. I have that corner, so I want to make sure that I'm fastened there. So I'm going to ink that up using, of course, our black taffy. I love that set so much. And it's just a perfect little set there for our project share. So let me just kind of show you how that's going to go. Beautiful. All right, so we're going to clean that guy up real quick, and we're going to kind of save our coloring here in a little bit. I'm just going to clean off this set. Okay. And I want to still keep the kit together because I don't want to, since I'm going to be cross stamping from one kit to the next, or from one little bundle to the next one, I want to make sure I don't miss anything here. All right, so I'm going to grab the green card set in your kit. And I'm going to offset that slightly. And I'm going to stamp my bench, which the bench I'm going to use twice. So cute. I'm going to wipe off this set again. I'm going to grab my larger sentiment here. So much gratitude. I love that. Perfect. Bringing that set back. And I'm going to bring that back into my kit again so I don't lose it. I should probably put this one in the baggie as well so that everything stays together. So we've got two that are stamped, ready to go. Because I already have the bench out, this is my second benched set. Now, like I said, guys, if you're like, no, I love to color, feel free to color your set. I think it's okay. I just want to make sure that I'm giving you multiple options for creating your projects. Like, it's not just limited to coloring. And we typically color all of our images in, but this time I want to give you, now it's going to be a little bit of a hybrid because we're doing some coloring and then, but most of it won't be colored. You'll see what I mean. Gorgeous. Now I'm going to bring in my sentiment. Did I already use my just a note? No, I did not. So just a note right about there. Fits perfectly. Oopsie. Alrighty. Let me grab the note. Just a note. Oh, cute. Alright. I'm going to bring that back into my kit. And then we'll work with all of these here in a sec. And then I'm going to bring in my last kit here. I'm fitting in all 3 stamps including my sentiment in this one. Gorgeous. We're gonna do one light one again because it is pretty well inked. But just to be on the safe side, one little dab it in there. Perfect. Check that out. I think that's so cute because it's all kind of part of the same garden, and I just love the way that turns out. All right, now we are going to move some of these around. It should be, just because we stamped it a few times, we should be able to just get a good impression. But on that extra, we want a few of these, and I would say 4 or so. So that we can add on top of our projects. And we want to leave these black and white, so don't be afraid to do that, okay? We will be cutting these guys all out. All right, so we should be done with our stamping for now, and we should be able to just jump into coloring and assembly, and then we'll grab these as needed. All right, so let's go ahead and start grabbing some of our kit. We're going to grab that first one. And we're going to go ahead and score that. How have you guys been enjoying our cardstock? Now you've had several opportunities to create with our kits, and obviously we're only sending you our cardstock, but I want to know more or less how it's going. Are you in love with it? Is it working well for you? All right, so this is how we're going to start our coloring process. So we're basically going to grab Sweet Blue Sugar Drop, and we're just going to add a little splash of sky color. So I'm just going to spritz this. And if you wanted to, you can grab a brush or to kind of merge that color into the background. We don't want it to be too oversaturated. And we want the color to be sporadic. So just a little tint of blue, which is ultimately what this has given me. And you could probably not see it too much because it's very faint. I'll try to see if I can go darker for the purpose of the video, but try not to do that too much or else you'll have oversaturation. Let's see if that shows up a little bit more. Anyway, there's a beautiful blue brush on there. So we're going to set this one aside, leave the twine and the ribbon back in there, and I'm just going to place this right on top of that bag while I jump into my next one. I want that one to dry a little bit because I'm going to do the same thing to this guy. So a little bit, I'm going to spritz a little bit of water here. Then I'm going to bring in some brush it on and bring it forth. I want that. So that is a beautiful look. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to darken my screen so that you can see this a little bit more. Do you see that now? You can see that beautiful like sky brush that's coming out. That's ultimately going to give you the look that we're going for here. Okay, so we're going to want to do that to all of them. I'm going to just place that on top of that kit so I don't lose anything. I'm going to bring in this guy. Same thing. And the reason why we're not applying this with a brush is that a brush would be too harsh, and we don't want the harshness of the brush. We just want it to look like a beautiful, beautiful stroke of color. A little watercolory, but not too much, because we're creating that background. And then we're going to come back and apply a little bit of color once it's dry. Check that out. So it's just really cool. We don't want to oversaturate with color. We're ultimately looking for a way for us to create an art-like feel with our background. And so we've got this one still a little bit wet, but I think dry enough for us to be able to add a hint of color. So we're just going to bring in a hint of that color. Nothing too crazy because then it's going to mess with our flow here. Just a hint of color. If you guys want the markers I'm using, we'd be more than happy to share them. I don't want anything too crazy. I just want a little bit of color within this space. So I'm basically just tapping with the marker. Just a little hint of color. And because we're using our oranges, I'm going to bring in, oopsie, that's not my orange. Just a little bit of color. Again, just tapping that color. I am going to go in a little bit darker on that green. Just tapping color. And a little extra blue on that bluebird. And ta-da! We are set here. So now let's go ahead and set this card up. I'm going to start by adhering this strip of ribbon right to the back. I'm going to grab some score tape to fasten that so it doesn't go anywhere. And then I'm going to bring it into my layer of tangy orange. So see how it's just sitting right underneath that piece. And I probably left it a little too high, but that's okay. It's just sitting right on top of that background. Now with the twine, I'm going to go ahead and grab this. And I'm going to create a knot and a bow right on this piece of ribbon. So just make sure you pinch it inward. I would first double knot it so that the grosgrain ribbon doesn't try to yank it out. And then create your bow right on top of that. There we go. We're going to go ahead and snip that. When in doubt, pop it out. We're going to pop this guy right out using some foam squares. Try not to go all the way to the bottom, mainly because, of course, our ribbon is going to be sitting on there. And we're going to bring this a little cattywampus. Just like that. And then we're going to pop this guy out as well. For that full fun cutie patootie look. Love it. Look how cute that is. Super fun. Card 1 is done, guys. So what do you think? Different vibe. We're kind of infusing a little bit of water coloring into our card making, but it just makes the background look so fun, and it just gives you a very summery, fresh feel, which I love. All right, so let's go ahead and switch over to our next project. Let's go ahead and score that through. Bring that into 5.5. And of course, we're going to splatter these at the end, just for that little bit of magic. So clearly we've got a layer and a layer, and then we're going to do the same thing over here, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. First, by adding color, little splash of color to our project. Just little dabs. And then we're going to just kind of add a little bit of that in here. Some of that yellow kind of helps fuse it together. Maybe even on our envelope. So fun. And it just creates a super cool look. And I don't want to add a whole lot of color to my mailbox. I may add a little, I think it needs a little thing on the flag. Just for that. You know what I mean? But look how cute that is. All right. When in doubt, we're going to pop this guy right out as well. I'm going to bring in first my layer of the blue. Then I'm going to pop this guy out. So we've got that. And then we've got two different ribbons. I'm going to do the same thing where he's kind of overlapped underneath. But before I do that, I'm going to create my bow just because of the layer. So double knot that, and then bring that to the back. And then we'll worry about tying it all together next. And we're just going to trim that and trim that again. Super cute little addition. And again, if you want to ensure that that doesn't go anywhere, just add a little bit of score tape on top of that, because we're going to foam square this out. And it's just a different, like, especially if you're going to teach a class this way, like, people don't feel so overwhelmed by having a set that requires so much coloring. Like, sometimes people have the time to color and love to color, but other times you're just like, oh, can I get a quick card in here? I'm running late. I have to create a card for, you know, a special birthday or a special someone. And these are perfect sets for that. Don't be so overwhelmed by the coloring. We're still going to come back and add a little bit of these. So I'm going to, and not on every project because it's not necessary, but on some of them, like for example, I can already see how I can merge it into here without bringing color. I'm just going to cut these out. It's just a fun opportunity to create, to play. Don't worry too much about the bottom because, well, chances are we're going to trim that off. They almost look like little cotton blooms. I'm leaving them, yeah. I don't think they need color. And of course, you don't have to do this, guys. If you feel like, oh, I don't like all the fussy cutting, then don't. This is just an additional little piece. Yeah, if you want more layers. Sometimes I know of some of my peeps who don't even like to add see what I mean? Like, look how cute it adds. It adds to the project. And of course, you can add color if you wish. I don't think it's necessary, but we can always bring in just a little bit of that vibe. And it all just kind of fuses in together. But yeah, sometimes I know a lot of my students who are like, no, I don't even put foam squares. And I'm like, what?
You mean they don't pop out the project?
They don't pop. I guess they're never in doubt. Am I the only one in doubt, guys?
No, you're not in doubt. You just like to pop the project.
I do. I
You
do
like to
love to add those layers. So it just adds a little extra level of dimension to your project. All right. So moving right along. But yeah, I can totally see why sometimes people are like, oh, I don't like cutting out, fussy cutting.
Or like you say, if you're running out of time, you don't want to spend
Yeah,
so much
people
time.
sometimes don't have that kind of time. They're like on the rush. Or again, also if you're teaching at class, I think it's really good to show them that it can be easy, very, very recreatable, and still have an amazing showcase for a project. All right, we're gonna add our color to this particular set, just a little bit. It's okay to go outside of the edge, guys. Don't feel so confined by, oh, it's gotta be perfectly colored, or it's gotta be this, or it's gotta be, no, it doesn't have to be any of those things. It's just gotta be something you love to do. Just little hints of color are enough. Just little hints of color. And we're gonna bring in our orange because it's a nice little touch. Our yellow. I'm gonna make my bow orange. And of course, I'm gonna give my little bluebirds some color. So cute. All right, we're going to add this to our layers. My little twine here got tangled up. Alrighty, and I'm gonna go ahead and cut an additional layer of this one. I'm just gonna bring in some more greenery. Cut this guy out as well. Each project always brings something fun and different and new to the table. And I love mixing it up a little bit so that you guys feel the freedom to create and to just be fearless about paper and color and layers. I'm gonna go in here and just clean this guy up a little bit more. There we go. And it's a good little addition to a project, but first I'm going to add a little knot here, a little bow with the twine. And I'm gonna adhere that to the center space. Because this guy will go right behind it as a layer.
How fun is that? It just brings up a little pop to the
Yeah, it just adds a little extra umph and love and dimension. And I'm gonna double pop this and my next layer onto my card base. So check it out. I mean, all the colors just make the entire piece work. And again, if you don't like all the layers, I know you'll probably just create it flat, but I love the dimension. Because check this out, like so far we've got 3 projects done, and it's just such a cute set. Like, it's such a cute stationery set, very summery and very inviting. And we're on to our last project here, guys. Bringing in that color, especially on that bench. I think that the bench really needs the highlight of the wood grain. But it's such a fun one to add color to because it's could be so not perfect and still look amazing. Bringing in that yellow really just kind of ties it in and kind of highlights. It's interesting because it kind of highlights your green when you bring in that yellow background. Perfect. All right. We score that 5.5. Beautiful card layer, which we're going to attach off of the side here. Now, I believe you definitely have more than enough if you wanted to go all the way around and tie a knot with this ribbon. But I'm going to use the same twine idea because I want them all to tie in together. So it's totally up to you. When in doubt, we're going to pop these guys right out as well. I'll show you what I mean here in a minute. So I'm just going to bring this in here, double knot this, and create a bow. It's just a different little touch. But here's another thing you could also do. Is bring in that little piece that's left over, tie it into place. And then bow tie this one. We're going to snip off the ends. So cute.
How cute is that? I love that.
When in doubt, pop it out one more time.
Or if you're not in doubt.
If you're not in doubt, you don't have to pop it out, but you know I love to pop out my projects. Look how cute that is.
Super cute.
Super cute. All right. So that is all for projects, guys. We've done well. I'm going to zoom out here a little bit so that we can, in fact, get them splattered all at the same time. Super easy peasy. And it's always fun. It's always absolutely fun to bring these to life with you guys. You guys make it extra fun. So thank you for that. And I'm just going to grab some of my white acrylic paint. Any white acrylic paint will do for this. Just make sure it's not too oversaturated. And add your splattering. Adds a finishing touch. A little bit of a summer glow. And they're perfect.
Super cute. Love the splattering on there.
Yeah, the splattering totally makes it worth it. Let me bring these back in so we can zoom into the projects. Check them out, guys. And wait till you guys see it firsthand, the brush of blue. Now again, I used our Sweet Blue Sugar Drop with just a little bit of water. Totally tied in the entire project for a fun project share that I hope you guys enjoy today. It's always fun to be able to see these projects come to life month after month, and I want to thank you all for being a part of our Card Club subscription. I cannot wait to see your completed projects shared on social media, and tag us so we can find it and see how you did during July's Card Club. Guys, thanks again for being the best part of RG Avenue. We can't wait to spend some more time with you guys next month. Remember to continue to create and capture so that we can bring hope to those around us. Thanks again, and we'll catch you next month. Adios.